Let me quickly talk to you about IRS Form 8822B, line by line instructions. Business change of address or responsible party. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of the Awesome Sweetie Kiwi Show. How are you today? I hope you are doing fantastic. I'm doing marvelous, if you're to ask me. If you are doing as marvelous as I am, go grab a cup of coffee or tea or vodka and let's roll. In today's conversation, I want to talk to you about IRS Form 8822B, line by line instructions. And this form relates to business change of address or responsible party. And let's first talk about the overview of the form. The time needed to complete and file Form 8822 will vary depending on individual circumstances, though, very important. And the estimated average time is 10 to 15 minutes, according to the IRS. And so how do you change your company's address with the IRS? You need to file this Form 8822B. And if your company's physical location and or mailing address has changed, you want to update the IRS as soon as possible to make sure you get all of your company's mail. Very important. While there are 4 ways you can update the IRS, in other words, tax return, phone call, written statement, or Form 8822B, we recommend using Form 8822B for a few reasons. First, even if you update your address via your tax return, we've seen mail still getting sent to an old address. This is quite dangerous, right? Think about it, because the IRS can send you a notice or a document to your company's last known address, and it's legally effective and enforceable. And another reason why you want to use the Form 8822B is that it creates a better paper trail. So once that form is processed, the IRS will mail you back a confirmation letter within 30 to 45 days. And so we feel like the Form 8822B is the simplest method with the best results. So therefore, the instructions that I will be talking to you today about will only be focused on Form 8822B. Now, remember though, Form 8822B is not for a company name change. So if you need to change your company name with the IRS, you cannot do that with Form 8822B. So I'm showing you right now on the screen here, the type of business and the action required if you want to change your company's name. All right, so you can see if you're a sole proprietorship, if you're a corporation, and a partnership, what you have to do. We're going to leave this on the screen for a few seconds so you can see. So you need to choose the option that applies to your particular situation. So this is how you actually change your company's name. All right, now let's first talk about, so if you need to download the Form 8822B, we actually have the link on the screen right now where the form is located, so you can actually see it. And before you begin, you will see a message at the top of 8822B regarding a personal home address change. So if in addition to changing your company's address, you're also changing your personal address, many people use their personal address for their company, right? Then you'll also want to report that change on Form 8822. And I'll talk about this soon. Remember, Form 8822 is for individuals and Form 8822B is for businesses, which is why you'll need to submit both forms. So I'm showing you right now on the screen, Form 8822, change of address. So this is for individuals. So it's written on it here. It says for individual gifts, estates, or generation skip and transfer tax returns. So part 1 is pretty easy to understand. So you actually need to check all the boxes that the change affects: individual income tax returns, so forms 1040, 1040 SR, 1040 NR, and gifts or estates. So that's for line 2. And line 3, you need to put your name, first name, last name. Of course, you need to put 3B your social. Same thing for your spouse if this is if you're filing. If you are married, filing jointly. And On line 5, your prior names, if you have changed your names in the past years. And line 5B, same question for your spouses. And line 6A, this is where you have to put your old address. Okay, folks, I'm talking to you now about Form 8822, not Form 8822B, just 8822 for individuals. So you got to put your old address here. And line 6B, you need to put your spouse's old address, if applicable, if different from 6A. And on line 7, and this is the important line here, folks. Here, this is where you have to put the new address. And so part 1, this is done now, and part 2, this is where you have to sign. So you need to make sure you put a date, time, phone number of the person to contact if you want to be contacted by the IRS, so that if they need any further information, they can just contact you and just sign. And if this is a joint return, you need to have your spouse's signature also. And if you actually go through a representative, let's say an executor or administrator, for instance, if we're talking about an estate or gifts, if we're talking about an estate or trust, for instance. And so this is pretty much it. Now let's talk about the purpose of Form 8822B. So the thing is, you use this form to notify the IRS if you changed your business mailing address, your business location, or the identity of your responsible party. I will explain later on what responsible party means. Also, any entities that change their address or identity of their responsible party must file Form 8822, whether or not they are engaged in a trade or business. So if you are a representative signing for the taxpayer, you need to attach to Form 8822B a copy of your power of attorney. And I'm showing you right now on the screen, folks, what the power of attorney and declaration of representative is. And this is Form 2848. I'm just showing you a snapshot of it because we have another show that covers this form at length. And you can see on the screen here, you have the power of attorney. So here you have to put the taxpayer information, so taxpayer name and address, taxpayer identification number, your TIN, the date, the date time phone number where the IRS can contact you, and the plan number if applicable. And so this is for the taxpayer. This is for the company, if you will. And on line 2, this is where you have to provide more information about the representative. Because remember, this is about the power of attorney and declaration of representative. So you need to put the information there. You need to put the person's name and address. You need to put their PTIN. PTIN stands for Professional Taxpayer Identification Number. Right? So this is where the IRS is basically able to track the work and the reputation, quote unquote, reputation of professionals who represent citizens before the IRS. And so you need to put the representative's address, and you need to check where you want the IRS to send copies of notices and communications, right? So remember that generally it takes 4 to 6 weeks to process your address or responsible party change. So changing both home and business address, if you're changing both home and business addresses, you want to use Form 8822 to change your home address. I already explained that. Now let me talk about Form 8822B line by line instructions. And you can see on the screen here, folks. So here you can see on the screen. So we have so before you begin, make sure that if you are a tax exempt organization, there are different instructions. All right. And if you need more info, you have to go to publication 557, tax exempt status for your organization. You can see that on the screen here. We have shown you the screenshot, as well as the link to that resource. So if you're one thing that's very important is that you need to check off the items containing the provisions that may be affected by your company's change of physical location and or mailing address. So if your company is taxed as a sole proprietorship, so the default status for a single member LLC, you'll most likely check off box 3. If your company is taxed as a partnership, which is the default status for multi-member LLC, among other legal structures, you will most likely check off box 1 and box 3. If your company is taxed as an S Corp or a C Corp, you will most likely check off box 1 and box 3. So we're showing you right now, folks. So right now, on line 4, you put the business name, your EIN. Line 5, you need to put the old mailing address. Make sure that you are, if this is a foreign country, make sure that you actually put the right information there, as well as the not just the country name, but also the province, the county, and the postal code. You need to do the same thing for the new mailing address on line 6. And actually on line 7, this is where you have to put the new business location. Remember, as a business, your mailing address can be different from the location, the physical location of the business, right? So you want to put the right information here on line 7. One thing I need to say here is that line 6 is more important from the IRS standpoint than line 7. Why? Because line 6 is where the IRS will mail you documents, reminders, notices, and communications. Line 7 might be used if, unfortunately, you get audited. If your business is subject to an audit, then the IRS might want to come and see exactly what's going on in your business and where it's located. I'll be right back. But after this, don't go anywhere. All right, folks, I'm actually, welcome back to another section of the Awesome Sweetie Kiwi Show. We are still having a conversation about Form 8822B line-by-line instructions. And I want to go to line 8. But before I go to line 8, I want to say one thing. You might want to leave line 7 empty. Here's the deal. Most businesses haven't given the IRS their physical address. Although you may have entered an actual physical address when you got your EIN number for a company, the IRS treats this address as a mailing address. The IRS doesn't really care where your company is physically located. They just need a mailing address, right? Line 6. Additionally, you're now required to give the IRS a physical address for your company. So if you've never changed your address with the IRS before, then the IRS doesn't have one on file. They just have a mailing address on file. And if this is true, we recommend leaving line 7 blank. Why? If you ever need to change your company's address by phone, the IRS will allow you to change your company's mailing address over the phone, but they won't let you change your company's physical address by phone. This is very important to know. And line 8, you have the new responsible party. So leave this blank unless you are also changing the company's responsible party. And line 9, you have the responsible party's social security number, ITIN, or EIN. Again, here you want to leave this blank also if you are just, you want to leave this blank unless you are also changing the company's responsible party. Again, this only applies to you if you're changing the company's responsible party. One thing I need to say here is that it's very important to understand the role of the responsible party, because the responsible party, as the name implies, is the person the IRS will be talking to, is the person the IRS will be communicating with. And you want to make sure that if you are keeping the same responsible party when you're changing your address or changing your company's physical location, make sure that you're still having the right person and all the information about that person are actually confirmed. And by information, I'm referring to social security number, their ITIN. ITIN is the tax identification number, the individual tax identification number, or the EIN, which is the employer identification number. And line 10, this is the signature. Here you need to enter your phone number, you need to sign the form, and enter today's date and your title. An officer, owner, general partner, or manager, plan administrator, fiduciary, or an authorized representative might sign. An officer is the president, vice president, treasurer, chief accounting officer, etc. All right. And for a title where it says title, used owner if this is a single member LLC and this is taxed as a sole proprietorship. You want to use partner if multi-member LLC is taxed as a partnership. And you want to use your officer title if the company is taxed as an S Corp or a C Corp. And one thing I want to say here is that if you are a representative signing on behalf of the taxpayer, you must attach to Form 8822B a copy of your power of attorney. I already spoke about that before, right? To do this, again, you use 2848. And the IRS will not complete an address or responsible party change from an unauthorized third party. And the mailing address for Form 8822B depends on where you live. I mean, where you do business. And so please double check the mailing addresses listed on the screen right now with the information provided in Form 8822B. So if your old mailing address, if your old company mailing address was located in some states, you need to mail to, we're going to put all this info on the screen, folks. So depending on where you're located, you have to mail your information to a specific address. So we're putting this on the screen right now where you have to mail 8822B. First, you have to mail it to the Department of Treasury in Kansas City or in Ogden, Utah. And one thing I want to mention here is that you want to make a copy of 8822B. Very important. You want to make a copy of Form 8822B for your records before mailing it to the IRS. And you can notify the USPS that you and or your company have moved, right? This is called change of address, and the USPS will forward your mail. And you will also want to complete the online form twice, once for yourself and once for your company. And you can also one thing that we have seen in our research is that if you need a new EIN confirmation letter, remember though, it takes an average of 30 days to receive a company address change confirmation letter from the IRS, but please allow somewhere between 45 to 60 days. And after that time has passed, you need to call the IRS by phone and you ask them, to mail or fax your EIN verification letter. And this is actually a confirmation letter for your EIN number, which will show your new address. This is a letter called 147C. Notice 147C, the EIN verification letter. And you can contact the IRS at 1-800-829-4933. And their hours are Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. local time. And this is based off the area code you're calling from. All right, folks. Thank you very much for your attention into this conversation. I really appreciate it. I was actually talking to you about IRS Form 8822B line by line instructions and business change of address and responsible party. Thank you so much. I will see you next time. But until then, remember, stay marvelous.